everybody, welcome back to another episode of What the Truck. You got Solomon here, and today we're with Ivan and his 69 Project F Word. I've been excited to see this truck. Ivan, dude, what the truck?
What's up, brother? Yeah, so this is our 69 F100 project for FordMuscle.com. Started this, I guess, sometime last year in March, and during COVID, we just decided to build something really badass. So this is my first go at a classic. And like me and Solomon,
you're no new guy to the Ford world.
No, so in the past I've done a lot of late model stuff. The last car I had was a 2015 Mustang that we built for FordMuscle.com, and that thing was more straight line oriented, and it made about, I think it made 1,026 at the tire. It had a big Whipple on it, and it was a really fun, fast car. But after a while, after about 4 or 5 years, it got pretty boring because where I live in Tennessee, it's just a bunch of back roads, beautiful curves. So we wanted to build something that like could handle really well, and it was a manual. I wanted to go back to the manual life, so I missed it.
Nice. So what's the story behind it? Like, how did you even get, like, what made you pick this truck or a truck? Because you could have got a early Mustang, a Fox body, or anything, and made it fun for cruising around corners.
You know, it's kind of weird. I had always had a love for these old trucks. I really didn't care if it was a Ford, Chevy, or GM, or a Ford, Chevy, or Dodge, but the more I looked at the older trucks, the more I liked the styling of the bump, right? So probably about 2 years ago, I was at SEMA walking around, and I see QA1 with their bolt-in suspension. That's when they released it. And I was talking to Dave Cass over at QA1. I'm like, man, like, this looks so easy. Like, I think I could even accomplish this, because I didn't think I had the skill set to build something older, because it required a lot of fab to do what I wanted to do, right? To handle really well. Yeah,
you don't know how to do badass welding and all that.
I'm not a fabricator, no. So at that point, I'm like, all the hard stuff seems like they've kind of thought about it, and it's a bolt-in kit. I'm like, perfect. So I started looking for a truck, and a year later, I was searching through Facebook. I think I was on one of your pages and just put up a post, and I said, hey, I'm looking for a 67 to 72 F100. It needs to be short bed and not crazy rusty. Like, I'm good with the patina, right? So guy puts up a post in there. He's like, I'm in Alabama, which is great for me because 3 hours away. He's like, sends me a message and says, hey, I want $900 for this thing. Or no, he said $1,000. And I called my buddy Chris and said, bro, I found the truck, we gotta go. We literally, within 30 minutes, he was at my house, we're on the road, and about 3 hours away, picked this thing up, ran, drove, started, stopped. It was, I guess, what you guys call yard drove or whatever. So it was a perfect project because I love blue. Anything blue or green, that's my speed. So it was perfect for me. And also, it was the right price. Yeah,
dude, I mean, that's a killer price. And let's show everybody some of this patina. And I mean, not everything on here this is how he had it set up, or you tell me, like, because it looks like a couple of stuff might not have been originally on here.
No,
like, from the exterior.
I wanted to change a couple things. When I started looking at like the styling of these trucks, I really liked the early grills, and for me, like, I wanted a white grill, right front bumper, like, so bad. So I actually bought another truck that I found locally that had this perfect grill and front bumper, so I swapped them over.
They look great.
It just got killer patina on it.
I love that.
Yep. Yeah, and the stickers, I mean, they're just awesome. It's perfectly worn. So after that, I was on the lookout for some fenders, because the front fenders were they were fine, but they were super rusted and patina. They were basically the color of the hood without the blue. And for me, I wasn't sure if they would look good and kind of and fit with the rest of the truck. But so I found these locally about 2-3 hours away and went and picked them up. Outside of that, though, I mean, this is basically the way that the truck came. I brushed the trim just to kind of get rid of the chrome, because I don't like chrome at all.
Okay. It matches your wheels too.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the outside of the truck is just about the way that I got it. So I did pick up a new white bumper this weekend.
I guess you didn't have a tailgate when you bought it?
It did. That's the tailgate that came on it. And a lot of the trim was missing, but I'm not 100% sure on what I want to do with the trim anyway. But yeah, the exterior wise, I mean, I really wanted to leave the old character. That's what's cool about these trucks. They tell a story, right? I mean, this thing's 69, so it's been on the road for a really long time, and I didn't really want to kill any of that, but my vision was that I wanted something that looked brand new underneath. So this thing, I mean, it is clear coated underneath. Every part is powder coated, and it just looks killer on the lift. I have a 2-post, so underneath, when you lay under it, it's just clean. It looks brand new. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's show them some of the goodies that you got over here.
All right. You want to start in the front?
Sure.
All right. So when I started this build, like I mentioned earlier, it kind of snowballed pretty quick. My plan was to run the big block. It had a 360 in it, so I was gonna run a big block in it, put a manual in it, and just do the suspension. And then when I could afford to, I was gonna do a Coyote swap. Well, I ended up partnering with Ford Performance, and they worked with me on a Gen 3 Illuminator, and I actually got the first Gen 3 Illuminator last summer once they reopened their plant. So it snowballed. Gen 3 Aluminator from Ford Performance. They sent me the control pack and everything to get this thing running and driving, which was super easy to kind of get going. It's like 5 or 6 wires. And then the first thing that we had actually done is worked with Silver Sport Transmissions out of Tennessee to develop a 67 to 72 T56 Magnum swap kit for these trucks. So now there's one part number. You can go to Silver Sport, go to their website, or you can contact them on social media, order a complete kit. Comes with cross member, transmission, bell housing, clutch, master cylinder, everything you need to get a 6-speed, whether it's behind the big block or a Coyote. They got you taken care of.
That's awesome.
We actually built the kit.
So this was a development truck for
This was a development truck for several different parts, that being one. So we originally had the T56 Magnum bolted up behind a big block FE. So when I went to the Coyote, I hit them up again and said, hey, I talked to Jeff over there, Jeff Kaufman at Silver Sport, and I said, hey, look, I'm gonna do the Coyote now. Tell me what I need to do to get the Coyote adapted to the Magnum. So we got a new bell housing, clutch, and a couple of smaller parts. This thing bolted right up, and yeah, from there it's been pretty easy. I mean, I love the way the Magnum shifts too, and awesome. It handles a ton of power, and it loves that, you know, you got with a Coyote and the RPM, you got to have something that's going to really like shift that 75.
Especially 8,000. The Illuminators, those rev even higher, correct?
Well, technically it's safer to rev them higher because the Illuminator has pistons, rods. It's got forged pistons, forged rods, and it's got billet oil pump gears, and like all the necessary things to make a Coyote bulletproof, they already do from Ford Performance.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, what else we got on there? I could see a really pretty Bear brake master.
Yep. So we worked with Bear to develop a nice solid brake package, because that's really important. Like, I've seen a lot of people screw that up. So from the lines to the master to the caliper, everything was sized correctly, and we worked with them on the master, and Master Power Brakes actually provided the booster, so we have nice power brakes. They have like I think it's called the Z-bar setup for the pedal. Okay. So it's got the correct pedal ratio and everything, and this thing feels basically like a power brake truck, but it's got that manual consistent feel. It doesn't feel spongy, it doesn't feel weird. And then on the caliper and rotor side, we did massive 14-inch Bear rotors with their 6P calipers, so 6 piston calipers all the way around. And this thing stops.
Is that like a blue chrome?
I don't know what they call it. I don't know.
It looks really nice.
It's got a killer finish.
The same color as this, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then I could see that you don't have electric power steering.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I wanted to do. I didn't want to compromise on some of the newer creature comforts, right? So I knew I wanted AC, I knew I wanted power steering. So I worked with Power by the Hour, and I got one of their accessory drive kits to flip the alternator and get AC in there. And then we actually used one of their new Detroit Speed GM Type 2 power steering pumps, and we plumbed the entire power steering system with Earls Performance plumbing. So yeah. Outside of that, in the engine bay, Jesse at Level 7 Performance, or Level 7 Motorsports, he actually built this killer intake for me to kind of finish out the engine bay. And then
it's really clean.
The last thing, I guess, really to kind of mention in here is the Champion radiator. So I was looking around for a radiator, and I couldn't find something that was easily adaptable to the Coyote, because the big blocks that come in these trucks, they use a 1.25 inch, I think, upper, and then a 2-inch lower inlet and outlet. So the Coyote's 1.5 inches. So I wanted a radiator that would bolt in, but had the 1.5 inches in and out that was really easy, so I can use the factory Coyote hoses. So nice. We worked with Champion. They developed a radiator that actually bolts right in. It's 3-core, has the 1.5 inches in and out, and now Power by the Hour actually carries that as a part number, so you can use your factory upper hose with that really funky crossover, and then down low it's really easy to source a hose.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And so what else? Let's walk around. So what kind of wheels and tires are on here? We obviously said what kind of brakes.
Yeah, so these are Rocket brand Rocket Attack Series wheels. I really like them because they're pretty lightweight. They're not cheap, but they're reasonably priced. They have tons of different offset and back spacing options, and if you want to get a lot of tire under the front or the back of these things within a certain dimension, like, you want offset options. So one of the cool things that we did with Bear is we developed a hub that would bolt into the QA1 hub, or the bolt into the Q1 spindle, but I wanted to use Mustang bolt pattern, so we can do a 4 or a 5x4.5 bolt pattern to run any Mustang wheel that we wanted. So
but also, actually, I know because I have the exact same setup for Oscar.
Yep.
It's a dual drilled hat.
Yep.
So it's 5 by 4.5, so you could run Mustang or Crown Vic or the easy car Ford stuff, and it's 5 on 5.5.
Yep.
If you still wanted, hey, no, I want to keep it to the factory Ford truck.
Yep.
bolt
Or
pattern.
if you have wheels and you don't want to switch over to a 5 by 4.5 now, you can run that hub, and then down the road, if you want to switch to a Mustang bolt pattern, you can just swap the holes.
So what size are the wheels?
The fronts are 18 by 10s, and then the rears are 18 by 12s, and then we wrap them in Toyo R88Rs, so 275 front, and then 305 rear. So it's got a lot of tire under it, and it handles fantastic. I mean, these tires they're 100 tread wear, but they grip. I mean, they perform really well.
That's nice.
Yeah,
they look really great. I like like you were saying that you don't like chrome. I love brushed finish stuff.
Yeah,
I'm actually a sucker for chrome, more in a funny way. I just like all the grandpa stuff. I mean, you saw how I dress at the show, and I just like that because it stands out.
Yep.
But yeah, and then I guess let's we could probably talk about the back and then get into the interior, since we're talking about more drivetrain stuff right now.
One of the things that I haven't finished yet is the bed floor, but it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because this is like a really cool visual. So like I mentioned before, this thing's got QA1 front and rear coilover conversion from QA1. So this is their bolt-in kit for the 65 to 72 trucks. Super easy to install, and it works so damn well. I mean, this truck is on rails. I'm really impressed. And actually, even Daniel from Huey Fab drove it yesterday, and he loves it. I think he's gonna end up trying putting one of these on his one of his development chassis. So so QA1 suspension, massive air brakes, and then we also worked with Strain to develop a bolt-in housing for the 65 to 72 trucks. So if you have a 65 to 72 truck, you don't want to use the dirty old housing, you can go to Strange. You can, I think it's 695 bucks. You buy this housing, it'll bolt right in, even if you have the leaf springs. Or if you do the QA1 mount, or if you do a flip kit, they'll actually mount the spring perch for you in the orientation that you want when you order it. So it's super easy. You don't have to cut and weld anything when you do the flip kit.
Very cool.
Stock dimensions. And this thing is built to the hills, though. It's got a Strange S-Track in it. It's a full floater rear, and it's got their aluminum HD case. So I mean, the thing is basically bulletproof. The other thing back here that I should mention is, outside the exhaust, is we used Holley for a ton of parts on this truck, and the main thing that Holley did is supplied a lot of the plumbing. So we used a 70 Mustang gas tank back here. This is super common.
Yeah.
I kind of did something a little different.
Perfect between the wheels.
Yeah, and well, I didn't even put it between the frame rails. I actually put it underneath because I wanted it to be serviceable. So I used some universal straps, mounted it on the bottom side, so I don't have to remove the bumper to drop it. I can just drop it from underneath, and it's super easy. Nice. I built a couple little supports inside to keep it steady as we're like beating the hell out of this thing. But so yeah. Holley gas tank with their 400 liter per hour pump. It's EFI ready. It's super easy. It comes with everything you need, sending unit and all. And then we used Earls Performance, which is another Holley's brand, to plumb the entire truck. We used their PTFE lines. Super easy to assemble, and no fuel smell, which is super important when you have it parked in a garage.
Oh yeah.
And you can run any fuel you want through this.
And you mentioned exhaust. I mean, dude, those TIG welds right there.
Yeah, so Jesse at Level 7 Motorsports ended up finishing the back half of this exhaust for me, because I really was particular on what I wanted to do. I had a buddy do the front half, which we can't see under the truck. Justin Humphreys actually built the front half. He built the full merge pipe, and I wanted to do an X pipe. And then from the mufflers back, Jesse at Level 7 finished this, and he fusion welded these TIG welds, which means that he didn't use any filler rod, and that's why they look so freaking killer. But with the QA1, it gets really complex back here because of the panod rod support bar. So he ended up moving that over and getting the exhaust to come out the back. But essentially, this is all it's all pipe from Flowmaster. It's like a builder's kit. Nice. They send you everything you need. So and then ended up using Flowmaster FlowFX Mufflers, and that's got that, with the combination of the X pipe, it's just got that unique sound. So yeah.
I guess let's see the main event, which is actually where you get to enjoy the truck and sit in the truck.
Inside. So actually, planning for this show, I didn't have a seat in this truck, and about a month ago, I was talking to my wife about running a factory seat, and my wife doesn't really like to do anything half-assed, so she told me that she was actually surprising me with this killer seat. So she worked with a local upholsterer. He hand-formed, he basically rebuilt the entire stock seat, fixed all the frames, fixed the frame and the springs, and then he tightened the springs up a little bit so it doesn't have that factory bounce. But he hand-formed all these little bolsters, so that way it keeps you in the seat really well, like, I mean, with this thing in the corner. So yeah, she surprised me with that. And then we did an I did it column, so it's got full tilt, you can get in and out really easy.
That's their bolt-in one?
Yep, bolt-in. And then also it's got a removable steering wheel.
Oh, fancy.
That's the I did it hub. Yeah, so I did its quick release hub, super easy. It's nice. I mean, I didn't know if I'd need it. I'm a little bit of a bigger guy for the single cab, so worked really well.
And this is cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, right? And then if, you know, if you're driving this thing in a sketchy area and you want to make sure it doesn't get stolen, just take the steering wheel with you. Yeah, put it in your wife's purse or whatever. But yeah, outside of that, we did an Andrews Tuning and Performance custom Dakota digital cluster. And that thing is super cool because it uses OBD2, basically picks up all the sensors from the control pack from Ford, wire in speedo and fuel, and it picks everything else up. So it's super easy. It kind of eliminates some of the cluster behind the dash. Outside of that, the one thing we didn't mention is a creature comfort that I really wanted. In Tennessee, it gets really humid in August, so I wanted AC. So we worked with Vintage Air to do one of their you know, retrofit kits in here. So it's got Vintage Air AC, it's got the factory style controls with their internals in them, and it, I mean, this thing blows like 37 degrees. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yep. And then that's the Silver Sport T56 shifter position, which is just perfect.
It looks great, dude. This interior is rocking. I didn't even realize, dude. Yeah.
Yep. We've been trying to find glass. I was talking to Auto Metal Direct, trying to find glass, and they're out. They were saying until
I took the last one.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I went to visit them a while back, and if you look at Gold Dust, which is right over there, I got a rock chip. I put an Auto Metal Direct window in it, took it to this first show, which was, I think it was Super Nats I took it to. Boom, rock chip. And then I went up there and got their last one, and sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they told me, because I was working with their marketing guy. I can't remember his name.
Jason.
But he's like, Jason said, yeah. He's like, yeah, Solomon just came and picked up the last glass, and he's like, I don't have anything until June. So I tried to find one local, couldn't find one local, and I wasn't missing the show. So I was like, you know what, I'll just dirt bag it with the cracked windshield.
Hey, it looks good. I mean, the rest of the truck isn't, you know, it's not a full show queen, so it doesn't matter as long as you like it. And
well, and honestly,
you're driving.
It's not stopping me from doing a burnout or having a good time with it. So it is what it is.
So this thing does burnouts?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have a video from Thursday night.
No, we'll need
Yeah, I mean, we're down.
Okay, so I mean, I think we pretty much showed everybody everything about the truck.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna bust out the drone and we're gonna fly it around, get all those pretty drone shots that everybody enjoys, and then we're gonna drive it around here, probably blow some tires off, it sounds like, and see you guys in a second. Here we get to hear her. Damn, does that sound good. All right, here comes some footage. All right, so here's the lesson. If you're gonna do burnouts and donuts, you do it when you're about to head out. Damn, is that truck freaking cool. Hell yeah. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you can, please give us a like. The likes really help. If you have any questions, comments, just want to say what's up, drop a comment down below. And if you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.